I almost said 21. Yeah. Beautiful. 20 seconds. Nice. All right, let's go. Seth, Jocelyn, Jordan, and Tim. Get together. We're going to start pummeling. Okay? So some of you guys have done this. If you haven't, we're going to walk through real basic. So Josh has got a right underhook. I've got a right underhook. We have our underhook. We're thinking about having some connection with the lats. Okay? So it's not super relaxed up here and relaxed. You got the same thing on me. The other hand should be doing something. Okay? Either punching through on the overhook or grabbing it, pushing it inside in the form fashion. Okay? We're going to move around like this for a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and feed. What's going to happen is my left hand's going to swim, her left hand's going to swim, and we go this direction. Okay? Now, one of the things that oftentimes will happen when we pummel is when I go to feel her swimming to take that overhook or underhook, so she goes ahead and swims, you just kind of like let this fall off, right? That's a really bad habit to get into, especially if we're talking bear hug defense today, hide in the headlock, do like one last review. If I get into a habit of just giving it up with no purpose, then you'll find that happening in actual grappling. Where it's like, oh no, they're gonna get under good. I still want to shut it down. I still want to get them some pressure. So I'm not necessarily fighting her per se, but I'm not giving this up. All I do is just keep my hand on the lat. So she actually has to swim to take that position down. That's all, right? And she's doing the same exact thing. Her hand's gonna stay in contact with my lap while I'm swimming. We both swim at the same exact time. That's all. Right? Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Right? And then the other side goes to swim. Boom, boom. Right? And then that way we're learning to actually swim against a little bit of resistance. Okay? Is everybody comfortable pumming? Yeah, slow, smooth, steady. Right? If you need to slow it down, slow it down. If you decide you want to pick it up, pick it up. Don't pick yourself just yet. I got a lot of fun shit playing with this group specifically because you know we can move on. All right. Now everybody start pummeling. I'll here. Good. Oh. Yes. Beautiful. Nice. All right, relax. Very nice. Okay. Now we're going to increase this pummeling a little bit in two ways. One, we're going to be more assertive when we go to move. I'm going to show you how it's going to go. It also makes it more exhausting. So it's great for warming up and also for feelings. Okay. So the same idea. All right. We started where it was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to leave a little bit of contact with the lat, and then you have to fight against it. Okay. Now, as we go to swim, I'm actually going to think as I'm swimming my left arm, this hand that's on her lap is going to push her across. Okay? So now, this is what normal poly would look like, right? You swim, right? It's relatively neutral. Now, if I'm being a lot more assertive about the position that goes into it, and I start to actually push, right? I start to break their posture and their balance by, okay, cool, if I'm going to move to the side, it's actually shoving it. When you both start doing it, it becomes a fucking nightmare. It's awesome, right? Where you're really fighting against resistance. So as I'm swimming, I want you to imagine, right? I have my right underhook on Joss, my hands over the overhook. I start to swim. As I'm doing that and I'm transitioning to the other side, I'm literally shoving her body across. Okay? We should always be looking to take angles, always be looking to put pressure on the body if you're going to do it. For something as simple as a pummeling drill, the more I can be assertive against that, the more I can be thinking about turning in and outside, the better. This is a really great way to do that. So we're going to start smooth and easy. We both have our right underhook. I mean, as we go to push, we are both pushing each other to the other side. Right? Consistent. Right? My left hand, if we do this in slow motion, as she goes to swim and I go to swim, it's pushing, 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 pushing all the way. Then it goes and readjusts. Push, 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 push. She's going to do the same exact thing. Push, 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 push. Push, push, push. Right? Going through this. Right? Pull, 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 pull. A lot. Alright? Yes. Right? Push each other across. Do it. Yes. Yes. Now don't you dare stop. Nice. And time. Yeah. Amps it up to 20-30% easy. Yeah, right? Good for you. All right. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay? Now we're going to do a pummeling drill where we actually work these double unders. All right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to initiate the drill. So we're at 50-50 to start. I'm going to pummel and I'm going to actually get double under. Okay? Now she's going to pummel one side at a time. So she's going to swim one in and then swim the other one in and now she has one. Right? And I'm doing the same thing. Now, as I'm doing this, okay, I should still be applying pressure to the place. So if I'm sitting here and we're in, she's squeezing the living shit out of me, right? And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to swim. This side still has to be active. Oh, I'm swimming that arm. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I want to be doing something with it. For those of you here for body locking the other way, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to start applying pressure. Start to lower my center of gravity and push into it. Now, if I'm going to swim inside on my left, then I want to be crushing and pushing in on my right. Now, when I get to the left side here, I'm already pushing. I'm going to swim the inside over here. She's doing the same thing. Your blood starts to forward and down, starts to swing one side in, crushing in, swim the other side in, crushing in. Okay? And so we're applying pressure the whole time. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You're always pushing, pulling, riveting on something. Face, head, ribs, arms, legs, at some point in time, in contact with somebody else. So now as we're fighting double under, swim, 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 swim. It's mutual, but man, there's just a lot of pressure on that. Make sense? However. Yeah. So however, you're sending out this mutual back and forth. One of you is to achieve double underhooks, other person achieves double underhooks. Good. And then fight your way back into those. Get them resistance so they actually have to work. Yes. Time. Good. Breathe. All right. Now, this is breaking down body locks or bear hugs, depending on what you want to call them, or you talk about body locks. So we're going to do the same exact drill, but I my double under, but now I'm intentionally going to do a double under to get a body lock, right? So as opposed to going like high underhooks or anything like that, what we're going to do is break her posture down. Okay, so I get into my double under, all right? A couple of things to know. For the most part, if we're talking about body locks in real life, I'm trying to pick her up to slam her on the ground. pick her up to take her somewhere she doesn't want to go, okay? Or I'm breaking her posture down and controlling her for somebody else to come up and beat the fuck out of her, right? Generally speaking, like from a self-defense perspective, not fucking MMA or anything else that you're gonna look at in UFC, right? I decided I'm gonna attack Jocelyn. Those are essentially the three reasons I'm buying lots of them. Hold them, pick them up and take them somewhere, pick them up and slam them, right? So with all of those, I want to break her posture down and get my hips in. You know, I've never wrestled before. We just figured that shit out. We're like, my son who's going to be 5 in February, going to pick my daughter up. He gets real low, gets her waist, pulls in, and starts carrying her around. That's just the way it is. So we figured that stuff out pretty quickly. So if I'm here on her, okay, I have her, I'm controlling her arms. Be good for weapon retention, weapon defense, things like that. But as far as me being a bad guy, picking her the fuck up and breaking her down, it's not gonna happen up there. Not normal, right? So what we're doing is once I get my double unders, I'm working my way down into like her lower back. Okay? Even better if I've got a little bit of angle. Okay, now this can happen flush and square, but I'm gonna have a lot more change and break of posture if I have a little bit tight. Okay? So I'm going to work my hands in relatively tight, start to break her posture down. But it's the same drill. So what is she going to do? She's going to apply pressure in the opposite direction, start to swim her hands in, work her way in. Once she gets her double underhook, she breaks me down. Now I have to counter. I start giving some good pressure here, putting my hands in, looking for the position I'm looking for. We're already just changing the context. I'm trying to gain control and break the posture under my hips. Okay? If we get really fucking good at this, you get good at being a really good attacker. Right? If I've got somebody who knows how to break somebody's posture down, protect their spine, get in tight to their hips, and then I learn how to defend against that person, the first dumb motherfucker that just tries to grab onto you, that's a whole different fight, right? So we're learning both ends of the coin. Plus, if you're really cool, if they do that and then you get in closer, and then you cool, and then I'm fucking done with it. Okay? So it's the same exact drill. But instead of going like high or just getting double unders, I want you getting in, wrapping your hands somehow, breaking the posture down, and then they're defending and saying that's good. Oh, that was terrible. We're gonna fix that.
Sorry. You can. There we go.
Nice. So start breaking down his arm. Yes. Good. Get your hips back. Drive your chest forward. Work your way in. Get low. Nice. Okay, so if I look at, again, you look at it from basic fight theory, you can look at it from physics, physiology, a lot of different ways. You can part about this, they all line up and they give you the same rule. Generally speaking, right, this is like taught day one. If I stay squared up to normal, it's generally going to be my leg mark. Generally, right? Okay, well, that applies to her ability to have a weapon. When it applies to breaking something down from a bear hug perspective, it is harder, or I should say, it's easier for her to get her hips away from me if she's squared up, right? So if I'm trying to get a hold of her, and her best policy is to drop her weight and push her hips back, this is literally the farthest. If I'm in front of her, it's the farthest she can get her hips away from me. That makes sense? As opposed to the same position. So let's say she's acting like she's defending me. This is the farthest, in fact, pushing the arm, right? This is the farthest distance from hip to hip. If I'm just beside her, even if she pushes her hips backwards, I'm already closer to hip to hip. If I make it around to her back, it's really hard for her to get her hips away from me, right? And so when I look at it, even just from the perspective of basic defense and getting hips, you're going to be more stretched out and have a harder time breaking someone's posture if you stay squared up. Okay? So where I'm going with this is, okay, so she starts with her double underhooks and I'm fighting my way into double underhooks. Okay, if I'm breaking my position down with that very first underhook, start looking for an angle, start trying to take this out. Okay? So with that very first underhook, when I'm going in, if I stay here, I'm going to have that much more trouble getting my hands together and getting low in the back. But from that very first underhook, if I start stepping across, and now break that position down. Now she has to do two things. First off, her hips are already in nice and tight, but now she has to square up really before she can do a lot, right? So again, we're taking away more and taking away more and taking away more, and I can't understand it. So I mean, that's day one. It just applies in different perspectives. Day one is, this is the last place I want to fight. I can keep good fighting for years, but I prefer to be off the sides, somewhere around back. Right? It applies to wrestling, striking, self-defense, weapons defense, and everything that goes in, right? If she knows I have a gun, easier for her to defend herself. If I'm shooting from the side of the behind, it's fucking easier. Flies and everything you get into. So right out of the gate, right, I'll even give her a little bit of a side angle on her two-arm, on her double. So she's breaking my posture down, she's driving me in. Now, I need to get my face back, squaring back up, need to start working my way in, and I'm already turning corners and angles. Right? This is also a significantly easier angle for me to swim than here. Right? This, right? It's all right here. So right from that first underhook, start working your way through. Make sense? Out better.
So you're trying to get an underhook and
Yes. Now swim that arm in, connect your hands and pull your hips in. Yeah. And go lower on this spring. So yes. Yeah. There you go. Now make it work out of that. Beautiful. Good. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Shit's exhausting, right? Time, good. Okay. So, we're almost back, right? And then we can start learning how to defend it. I'm just kidding. We're learning offense and defense right now. It's the best part of the whole thing. So, a couple of things. I guess a recap, right? So, we're working on breaking their posture down. That means we getting inside their neck. All right, double unders. If I want to break their posture down, probably have a better chance to get a little goal on their spine. Okay, cool, we've got that. I'm going to have a better chance of blocking that in if I start moving my way to the side. So I already start taking the angle. Red gauge is like, should always be something to look at. Now, they're allowed to defend. You guys have to figure that shit out, right? So as that's going, for me to think, okay, cool, she's got double unders, she's broken my posture down, and I'm breaking back in, right? Okay, good. I got my way down. That's squared up. Oh, I started to go in. For me to think that I'm going to get right from just one swim to exactly where I want my hand is less plausible, right? What I mean by that is, okay, let's say I make the space for me to start feeding in for this underhook. Well, I mean, she'll pull her hips in. Maybe she'll just newspaper grip and pull this elbow in, sandwich it. That becomes a little bit of a pain, yeah. Whatever it is, there are things resisting me on my way to getting angle. Okay? So one of the things I like to think about is find like little check marks. Imagine like your rock climbing, right? I love using rock climbing analogies to body because they'll make these lovely little like fucking V hooks. Okay? And find little stepping points to be able to create muscular leverage. So I get this arm in, right? I'm deciding at least at some point in time, like I want to work to this side of this angle. So I want to get my left hand all the way to this right hip. Yeah, but it's a far distance to go and fight against it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a handle. Okay? Right here, I got a little bit of a ribs. Right? A little bit of a lat. I'm fucking hooking it. Right? Just like I do rock climb. Boom, I get a hold of it. And now as I'm doing this, I am pulling this and then moving to the next hand. Right? And I'm using that handle to pull myself in. And I'm ripping. Hammer. Right? Until I get in. I'm breaking that the whole entire time. Right? So I'm going to like a huge stand. Like, again, and I don't know, no fucking idea why it was called. I was always thought of cowlick. Fingers in, and you just hook on whatever you can. You can hook fucking everything. Like we were talking about headlocks the other day. Like if I grab a headlock and I want to twist her, I twist her. And just grab on whatever the hell I can. So once you start thinking about that, especially smaller limbs versus larger limbs, smaller frame versus larger frame, instead of thinking that I'm going to make this like magical swim, okay, I got my hands in, and I'm just going to magically get that falling over here. Oh, you know what? I'm like, if BJ say he's grab material, you climb with a fucking rope in that percent. It's the same thing. You got really deep grips, upward. Oh, like, posture to get you down. I can even use this. And right here, she's got good. She's pulling me in. Right here, got something real elevated. Yeah, I want to break her down. I grab. In. Pull. Right? You need to look at the whole fucking leg. Right? Start looking for that little angle. You don't have to be like good one. There's what I grab. I got fucking something, right? In between two ribs, and you're just pulling nice. Work through up. You hook your leg. Chip. Alright? That other 1, 2, 3. Knee hooks! Yes! Yes! You're good! Keep working around her. Yeah, keep working around her. Yes. Nice. Nice time. Beautiful. All right, 5 more minutes. And we'll take a pretty decent chunk. You guys can put a lot of work in. And not last, but for all intents and purposes, we touched on it really briefly in this last demonstration of Josh and I, but manipulating the spine 99.9% of the time is a good idea if it fits, right? So if she's got me broken down really well, right? Even if I'm elevating, right? So I'm not really lifting up everything. I can break the spine down. I can misalign it in any way. So the more that I can get her punch forward, the more pressure on the spine. The more I can get her spine like turned, the more pressure on the spine. The more I can get rotation, okay, and actually turn the spine, good, right? It makes weak. Our bodies are the strongest when they're bilateral, in movement, in alignment, solid structure, solid spine. So break that down, your body realizes it makes it good. It puts the chest systems off. Okay, needs to manipulate. So she's out there pulling it all in the direction here. Okay? Keep it barbaric and simple. Okay? Gripping and pulling, pushing, flying, right? Anything that I can do to this line is fine if I can't get it naturally with my arm, right? If she starts to reach, I'm able to break down before I knock it and it comes up, right? But if I'm having trouble straight back to here, we're going to start breaking it spine down. Okay? Arm lift over top, cool, use that. Start to pry here. Now I can start to pop. Right? Now I can start to break, get leverage, do whatever I want to do. For this drill, we're working underhooks. That's the objective. But I'm breaking that posture and position now. We switch roles, right? I've got a really good lift here, right? And she's fighting, but she starts pushing my face away and leveraging my head. And push. That makes my grip significantly harder. Yeah. And it can be ugly, right? Where we usually get fucked up is, so let's say she goes super elevated. Like this is a weird position. So I already get that. It's fine. I can still use this as a lever to create this as a lever. I can still get my hand across if that's something. I don't care what it is. Okay? If I start to push this way, and I'm like, that's kind of working, but it's not working where I want to, and then I just get it missing. And now I can grab the root. That sucks. Right? Now am I ready to trade? Right? If I get something across the face, I'm done. I can try. And now maybe I just get a form on the other side. You have to make it strong, cool, reinforce it. Push the boat. You want to sit. Right? And I'm already breaking her grip. It's going to be very hard for her to hold just like in this. But if I back with the underhooks, look at this thing. Okay? So, aggressively, while taking care of your partner, start fucking around with their head. Get your grip that you want. What I mean by aggressively taking care of your partner is no fast movement. None of this needs to be done explosively, right? She's got grips here. For me to break the posture, I don't need to clop her in the head. In real life, can I? Fuck yeah. Right? We're pushing on the face. In real life, I'm holding here. I'm going to push on the face, but it's going to start at the pulse strike. Right? I'm smothering right? I'm gingerly grabbing the nose and the cheek. In real life, if I'm not a fucking eyeball, eyelid, scratch, whatever, it comes up. Keep it out of the mouth. Anything that's aggressive is not explosive. That would keep each other safe, but also break position. Okay? Listen, you're going to go for 2 minutes. Battling, well, not battling. We're working to a double under position, breaking the posture around, and then they're taking over and working the same thing. 2 straight minutes. We're putting all these pieces together. Leverage on the body, taking angles, gripping and rock climbing, turning and fucking around with the spine. 2 minutes. You guys get ready. Yes. 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 Right. Pause right there. Pause right there. So you're like this over top of your head. About getting that elbow, but on the other side of your head. Yeah. Beautiful. 1 minute, and we're gonna take a break. Breathe, hydrate. Allow breathing. And you're, again, you can do this with this group. A little more of a conceptual standpoint. Now, if you look at like the real struggle that takes place in prayer of the body, this understanding all of this shit, active back and forth. I'm trying to kill you, you're trying to kill me. We started to develop the actual senses. So where's the body place? How do I turn it over to the other? As opposed to, you know, what is wrong? We were teaching somebody brand new, or doing the old team that from God. Everything was very step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And yes, we gave people, you know, a little bit of autonomy as far as like this doesn't work, do this, this doesn't work, do this. But realistically, you get really good at it by just fucking doing it, right? And if it's 1-for-1 back and forth, where you're choreographing as a bad guy, we have a tendency to go easy on it, right? We have a tendency to go through motions like that, and that's okay. Technically, there are times you have to learn that way, right? Learn one piece, learn that piece, learn that. But real resistance comes down to battling for position. And then we start adding layers on top of that, right? So now if I were to give y'all like MMA gloves and say, all right, we're doing body blocks and you're still working to get underneath, but now you want to hit each other. All of a sudden, you're going to have to start worrying about defense and awareness of where the hands are. But you're learning that by just getting hands on and doing it, right? And so we, again, like I said, we did like it was year 4, and I was like, I was working through this stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this train rolling, and we're gonna start talking now about entries from the back. We've covered side and front, right? We indirectly covered side because how was I teaching you to get body block? Take a fucking angle and get to the side, right? Same mechanics are gonna go into play when you're inside. There's an extra step I gotta get through, and a couple extra things to learn when somebody's on my back. Right, that's what changes things up. So we're going to do the same drill, but now working with the back, which means there's going to be a point in time where I have to let the other person take my back, but I still want to have this resistance we've created for the first half of the squat. Make sense? Okay. So if we look at back position, okay, we're going to start keeping this double underhook mentality. We said it means my hands are free. So now she's got control of my back. You know, really, like if I were to put this down again, I'm really only doing this because you can y'all. Essentially, if her head is behind my shoulder versus her head in front of my shoulder, that's the difference between these. It doesn't matter if she's sideways on me. If her head is behind my shoulder, then we're looking for the same body mechanics as body lock from behind. If her head is in front of my shoulder, now we're looking at the body mechanics from body from front. But notice, like, not much change. As far as what, like outwardly, if you didn't know anything about fighting, and you were just looking at one picture like this, and one picture like this, you probably wouldn't think too much about it. But it really is a massive difference. She's on my back with the difference of what I'm fighting. Okay? On my back's a bad place to be. Right? Anytime anybody's beside us or behind us, it's the first fucking thing we need to do. Turn towards them, right? Your main objective is turn towards them. So, first thing we got to do when somebody's body locking us is make sure we don't get picked up and fall. So she's pulling my hips in, right? She's breaking my posture down, pulling me out. How do I get my posture back for the most part? I get my hips away and I drive my body in. Okay? So I'm going to start to lower my center of gravity. I'm going to start to walk my feet out, right? Making sure I have a base, but I need to counter that pressure. If I don't counter the pressure, if I don't push my shoulder up and back into her, then when I go to move my hips away and stagger my feet, I'm more off balance. Okay, so I have to have counter pressure. So as I go to make this and I start to lower my center of gravity and walk my hips out, I gotta go back into her. So I need to be resting in this perspective, this specific movement, on top of my armpit. Like it's just sitting on it. Okay? This foot is really, really, really fucking active. Okay? It's not just here. If you're dead weighting it, it's very easy for them to simply move around to that. It's an active position. I'm fucking driving back into this, right? So like if I'm leaning on this heavy bag, here, this is like casual drop, you know, stack of potatoes, drop your weight. This is what I'm really doing. I'm driving fucking through my legs, through my body back into it, right? Now, I don't want to stay here very long. I want to turn back into it, honestly. So she's got this position. I automatically start to lower my hips, stagger my feet, walk my hips out, and push back. Okay? Listen, this is very important. She is on my back until I get this arm on the other side of the body. So, if I try to slim an underhook right here, she still has my fucking back. Even if I get the underhook, right? It works, but it's like kind of like a false, it's like an oasis in the desert. You're like, yeah, I'm saved. No, you're not. Right? You just fell right into that. So this is the one that matters. So the first one is very simple. I drive my hips out of the way, drive my body back, I'm putting pressure on her head, and I'm just going to grind this around. When I say grind it around, I'm fucking grinding it around. I'm grinding my arm across her head to get to the other side of her head. Okay? She grabs on, pull again. Okay, this sucks. Hips away, chest back. So to ratchet my body back into her. Okay? I can end up here, but I would prefer to get all the way to the other side. If her head is underneath, she she most likely has a threat of a drop down. Take my back again. Right? All she has to do is take that angle and go. So I'm pushing back, I get here. But I am safe when I get here. I've cleared her head. Where's her head now? It's on the front of my shoulder. Okay? So you're going to work that. They're going to grab you from behind, whether it's sideways, whatever. Okay? Even if it's flushing straight from behind. Hips go back, push into her. Start to move my leg. Oh! Right? I want them working. They're in the back row, like, what the fuck, right? So that's one of them working. Make sense? So they're starting back. How we're making the flow, it should flow. Start to go back, right? Hips out, chest up and back. We start to move. I get in here. Boom. I get to the other side. I pummel for my underhooks. And now I'm just going to pull my head out. Back on her back. And now she's going to work her way out. Pressure, heavy pressure. She's turning in. Getting your head out and around. She's like, so her double unders. Works her way out to the side. And works her shit around back. And I'm working my way back. Fucking job. Great. Alright? One for one. Start slow. Start smooth. Get a feel for it. Alright? Then start to go faces again. I'm up here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a great full minute. Yeah, make it work. Good. Clear the head. Yeah, so instead of going over, yes. So it goes better in there. I feel like that would be better. Like that would find yeah. It's not the end of the world. Here's the deal, right? If I end up here, he always has a threat. His head is on the other side of the board.
So no, you don't know more offensive. I mean, you could bear down, you could snap down.
But that comes down to muscle. Right? If we're looking at from like self-defense perspective, I have to completely break. Right? I mean, yeah, sure, I want to work this, I work it. But he's not saying, like, I'm looking at it like, get him off your back. Defensively, they're not off your back. So, if no one has ever seen a front off before, you really understand not to relax, right? Everybody can understand with a bar type of that stuff. That there is threat. If you're going to something, you always have to go. So it's a matter of, if you do front headlock, that's the one. Should you stay there? Or not? The outside, jump around the mat, pop your head out. Yes. Good. Yes. Good side.
Hey, you're trying to do the double there.
Double unders. Beautiful, Seth. Nice work. Nice. So instead of picking up, yep, but push your head and your chest back in. Yes. Now start turning in there. Create a different angle. Yes. Pause. Got it. So a couple things. Let's look at a couple things here. Okay. So, well, because I want to it's really hard to see it. So there's a couple things. There are a lot of ways out of this, right? We're looking at one or two. The reason we're looking at this over the top one is because the arms are free, and simplistically turning around to us, there's no hand play or anything. So we're starting with over the top. A lot of other things that I can do from here. Okay, my hands are free. He's got my back. So a couple of things that I want to look at. Baseline perspective. For this, I want to be here. Pushing into it. If I go upright, okay, then I'm lifting my center of gravity. The higher my center of gravity is, the higher the center of gravity is. Okay. So you know here, I'm down, my feet are staggered, and I'm essentially like, almost think about like tucking your pelvis underneath to create backward pressure. Now, even this is temporary. Because if you're smart, you'll step back and snap it, right? Put on the floor. So what I want to start doing is, I want to turn towards him. So once I've done the initial, like, oh shit, drop my weight, I'm doing this. Right? I'm turning towards him, getting my body that direction. Okay? Now, I'm going to start getting my arms turned the way I want. So, for here, he's on my back. Oh shit. I want to start turning towards him. And then again, I'm our rock climbing analogy, right? So this is a weird position, because now his head is over top of my chin. If I start turning this way, I'm running into his shoulder. That's cool. Oops, Gretchen. Whatever the fuck is there. He's got just long enough hair that I can grab hair. You three have long enough hair to grab hair, right? If it was hair, boom, I'm ripping on fucking hair, right? God forbid you attack somebody with a man bun. You fucking grab that shit, pull out like a fucking animal, right? But realistically, right, because I get him. And then what did I do? It wasn't just this like technique where it's just like, okay, here, and then turn. Right? I'm rock climbing my way into those positions to keep my mouth facing down. So get your hips out of the way. Oof. Immediately start to ratchet back into it. Right? When I say ratchet, like think about the way ratchet works. It moves very slowly, but once it moves forward, it stays there. It only moves forward, incrementally. Same idea. Alright, work my way in. Second piece of the puzzle, I'm giving you two things. I don't usually like to do that, but I'm going. Okay? If I go over the top and I end up front headlock, yes, we can use this. We have this little sidebar over here. Yes, I can use it. Okay? But there will always be the threat of him taking my back, especially his hands are so linked up. So once you get to here, one of two choices. Either run it to the other side and then start to manipulate his head that direction, or use it for 2 seconds to start to fight to the inside. And then go that direction. Right? For this drill. This is not front headlock. Okay? Questions? How you doing, bud?
Still here. Yeah, I didn't slip on the mat coming in from outside into that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're already doing anything that last time? Whatsoever could possibly be agitating. Yeah. Or fix it, you know? Oh, Yes. Yes. There you
Go.
Nice. Yes. That's good wizard stuff. I don't even know if you knew if you knew what you're doing. Just like, no. Yeah, stay second. Time. Breathe. Want to roll it?
Might help.
Yeah. There's a hard one, soft one, hard one. All right, we're gonna look at one last thought. Right now, we've made our turn with our hands out. The next option that we have is making a turn with our hands in, or getting my same side hand in and making a turn. All right. So we'll take a look at this and then build off of it. And again, we can move it at whatever pace we need to get into. So from here, she's got my back and her hand, my hands are free. My hands are out. That means I can manipulate her hands. There's a fine line here. Okay. In my experience, people overcomplicate this process. Okay. Like even in the Krav system, there were like all these things, like all these grip breaks that we used to have. We used to have we call it ice cream cone, right? So I would grab the pinky up, right? Or I was on this side. I'd grab a pointer finger, pinky up, and then I would go like this, right? It's the ice cream cone. Hold on to your ice cream cone. So I'd get to here, and then I'd just hold it, so you're essentially breaking my finger off, right? We had a coconut cracker. Bang, you grab the outside knuckles, get the nerves, and shoot the fingertips open. There's a lot that you can do. But how much of that can get accomplished before they pick you up and slam you on your fucking head? Right? That's the problem. So the first thing, or the way that I want you to start looking at this is very simple. There's three basic places that I like to approach when somebody has their arms underneath. Okay? One is at the palms, so pressing and leveraging the palms down. Okay? And all I'm doing with that is very similar to mount. Somebody's in mount, my escape to mount is bucking my hip. By keeping my elbows in their hips, I keep them on my hips. It allows me to get there. If you climb up, it makes my life harder. Well, it's kind of the same analogy here. If she's able, like as I'm sliding away, if she's able to pull her hands up, this is actually going to make my life a lot harder. Okay, I'm way falling off base and balance. She can snap me to the floor from here and prop my neck up. So I'm actually continuing to stay at least where I can use my hips to lever, and I'm stretching out her grip by just getting a hold of these and pushing them down, as opposed to even just that, right? You can ask her, right? Difference between her ability to grip and flex here versus her ability to grip and flex here, right? So the way that I think about it is, it's this. I know where my body's at always. So I literally take the heel of my palm, drive it down my sternum to get to wherever that's at. I don't care if I end up on her elbow, her wrist, or her hand at that point in time. But what I'm not doing, or at least what I want to avoid, is like, right, I'm doing this number. Right at again as I push it down. Okay? So wrist is one. If I stay on the outside, elbow is the next one. So we're here. Right? If I'm accomplishing this and she's in nice and tight, there's just a lot happening for me to get this. There's this, we learned in jiu-jitsu where I make this little knife hand and I slide the thumb. It's really fucking complex if I'm in a real life situation, I'm caught off guard and realize I'm going to be fine, right? To sit there and go like, look at this awesome big gross motor movement thing, and then I'm going to find the elbow and slide. It's just fucking whatever. But where this does come into play is this. She's working her way around my back, and I'm here, and I already have it. Because why? Oh shit. Right? I realize I'm losing position. When we were here and she had my back, and what's she doing? She takes her head out. Okay, cool, I have the elbow. Because it's just, this is more natural. I don't have to fight for it. Okay? Push the wrist down, pull the elbow up. It just makes a little bit of extra pressure on her shoulder as I go to get it. That's all. All right, so that'll be the second place. The next place would be fighting inside grip. So I'm pushing. Okay, I get into here, I start to push, and now I'm getting in. This elbow starts to fight the hand. These are the three places that when people have my back grappling, it's where I'm going. They're a lot more gross motor. They allow me to keep my pressure back in. Okay? The two that I want you to work with right now are push here, and now as I start to turn, I'm going to pull this elbow in. Yeah, in my body. Now let's assume she's still fighting for the grip. So she's still reaching around my back. Watch. Here. Straight line. All I need to do is get her far side hip. That keeps her off my back. She's on my back. Even if my arm's in, she can have my back. Okay? She's no longer on my back. Dumb shit. Okay? In real life, right? She's pulling her hips in, shutting this off, rock climb. Work my way in. Wrestlers are fucking, if you watch good wrestlers, when they high cross and single leg, they fucking like, they pull and you can see them, they like latch on to the strings of their strands of the hamstring and like fucking work their way up. And then they get into some really, like, they'll go fucking fingers into your asshole if you get it. We're gonna stay away from that for several reasons. Okay? But, I mean, you pay extra for that. Anyway, so I go in.
And then we're after
That's level like 6. That's level 6 shit, right? Ooh, I want to be that. Anyway. I push him in here. I'm going to pull this elbow. In real life, I fucking slam this as hard as I could. Oh! Okay? That's it. All I need to do, take a look at my body. Hook. Pull it. Okay? I work my way to the inside. Cool. Press the hands. Turn in. You can go over top if you want to go over top. You can go to the inside if you want to go to the inside. Either way, I got to get cross body. I'm going inside. Cross body, yep. I'm going outside. Okay.
I don't think you can fight.
To be completely honest, not much. Like, legitimately not much. Because look, you can think from a self-defense perspective. If I get to here, right, I have leverage. If I can't break the grip by doing that, me going into weird shit, I'm way fucking better off. I button, strike. Keeping one pushing down, the other one comes up and strikes, all that shit. Me actually going through, like getting into this, feeling fingers, very, very good. So the first thing I'm doing is just here. You grab, boom, get in here. I can wrestle, which is what we are doing right now. Or our head's on that side, place. Oh, right? Leverage. Every black belt test I've ever watched. No, one fucking black belt, unless they were told specifically to show the technique. You've never seen a trauma black belt actually fucking do anything. I sure as shit have never seen a fucking wrestler do it, no grappling, and you won't see a beat it do. Well, you won't see a beat it do for a week. But you get the idea, right? This is everything that you're gonna need in that moment. Because if that doesn't fucking work, right? I get in here, push it, a huge lever, right? Push it down with my hand, push it down with my hand. My head's in nice and tight. If she takes 2 seconds to start to look for my fingers, you don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like it's a wrestling snap and turn and pivot. You don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm just hammering you in. It's an extra move you don't know. Okay? Yeah. Alright. We just covered a fuck ton of shit. Push on the hand, give a little bit extra leverage. It's the same exact drill turning back into them. If you go over the top, go over the top. The other option I gave you was sliding the elbow to the inside and getting the far side. Alright, good. Yes. Yep. Beautiful. So yeah, get your thumbs out of it, Jordan. Nice. Yes. Feel your palms.
The other one was.
Boom. Yep. Start to turn back in, and then keep over top of his head. Yes. Right. So here, I'm not gonna refresh with it, but when I go here, right, I'm gonna use. What were we doing with this? This is essentially an elbow. So just tie the two together. Right. I'm pushing here. Boom. Like elbow. Wow. Wow. And then right. It's the difference between like pressure passing and hitting. Tie the two together. And then heavy pressure now with a broken posture. Very well back. Yes. Yes. Nice work. Yes. 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 30 seconds. There you go. Nice. 20 seconds. Nice.
Good. All right, keep going, keep going.
Good. Far side hip. Pull yourself in. Nice. 10 seconds. And time. That entire class was a mystery, so that was a good thing. That type of resistance, okay, where there's a legitimate struggle for position. Like spend a lot of time there with it. You may have heard me say this before. Like we spend hundreds and hundreds of hours wrestling, clinch fighting, and grappling, so that in real life we need those skills for like 2 to 3 seconds, right? Somebody bear hugs me, body locks me. I've been here before. Boom! I go into mode to get position, and then I can fill those spaces anywhere with strikes if I have balance and control, right? So again, like we can throw elbows in there as long as I have the space to throw elbows, right? I can throw knees as long as I have the balance to throw knees. I can throw, we did body locks on Tuesday. Okay? I can throw palm strikes to the groin and grab and rip and all that type of stuff if I have balance. If I go to throw a palm strike to the groin, but I'm standing upright, I'm trading off essentially a shot to the groin to possibly being dropped on my head. That's not a good trade-off, right? So the wrestling time that we spend and understanding that against real resistance is the shit that then opens up the ability to strike, like draw and access a weapon, all that type of stuff. Especially when you're talking about chokes, whether the hand chokes or head locks, and body locks. Because those are clinches by nature. So if they initiate a clinch, we're going to spend a shit ton of time learning how to get out of it. Right? Same thing. Cool. So any questions on anything? Okay. For my testers, body lock to the front is just body lock to the front. There's no, like, you're not getting graded on step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You're getting graded on essentially like efficacy, right? If they're giving you pressure and you make it through and you don't do anything that's going to fucking get you killed, it works. That's okay. That's what they pass on that movement, right? So, in back in the day, we used to have like specific teaching points that made people hit specific landmarks, and we'd actually get grades. And we started realizing, like, ooh, that guy did something that's not part of it, but man, that would really fucking work. And then we're like, oh, so like, how do I? And then we just one day, John Burton and I looked at each other, and we're going like, You just want to pass fail? And he was like, yeah, good idea. So it's like plus, minus, or no, it's not. Right? You pretty much your option. And that's the reality, right? Because again, like the front headlock conversation. If you're comfortable with front headlock, you've seen it. I fucking love front headlock. Yeah, grab a front headlock, rip their chin sideways, slam their face into the ground. It's a great way to end. If I don't know how to do that, and I get into a front headlock and I pull them into me, and then they spear tackle me into the floor, and I have to go on my back. It's a bad fucking place to be. It's like I just had somebody on my back. I got into a front headlock, and then I ended up on the back of the floor. All of those situations done. So in headlock, you could turn the corner, grab the front headlock, and snap your training partner to the floor, and that's going to get passed, right? Because you know how to do that. If you go to snap them to the floor and they tap you to the ground, there's not benefit, right? Because you use something to do it. So that's the way you want to start looking at it. And this is, there needs to be jump off points for the four of y'all. We were able to just run, flow, and push, and talk conceptually about things. That's where you're really going to start. The rubber's really going to meet the road when it comes to legitimately executing something, in my opinion. Cool. Any questions on that? Great work. Wonderful. Questions or anything? Yes, unofficially the death program. Yeah. What's that?
I was going through the roster and I couldn't remember. I know the close show is from the side of what they did turning it out, but what's the first? Not against the wall.
Bicep to ear.
Same, even if it's like real quick.
The track drop off. The track drop off. This more like at 8 a.m. this morning. Yeah, I mean, and then Tuesday and Thursday, like I said, unofficially, it's just because Brooke and I haven't officially announced it, but Tuesday and Thursday, like classes this week will just be worked up. It'll be reviews top to bottom. Bicep to ear is the standardized answer for everything. Okay. If they're in too close and you do bicep to ear and it feels odd and you want to strike, then you can strike to create separation and work your way up. Right? And that, so the baseline is bicep to ear. But, so there's some people that have been around for a long time, they used to do people have fluffy defenses. Like, I'm sure you're not going to get dinged for fluffy defenses. It's just a matter of as long as you execute the right. Right. Good. Sweet. That's it. Well, we'll see if Trent shows up. I don't know. Sparring started about 12 minutes. Right? We're ready to sit and bang around a little bit. But otherwise, the 4th can be awesome. Great work today. Oh.